What's up, guys? It is Will here, back again for another episode of Lights Camera Collect every Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, with an Avengers level panel. As always, Mr. Carlos, a place for collecting, Mr. Keco Collects / Handsome Butters. Happy to have both of you guys here. We got an Avengers level panel, an Avengers level show for you guys this evening. We're going to talk about, of course, the talk of the town, Mr. Mace Windu, the InArt Joker, because yeah, we still got to talk about that because it's a banger, apparently. The Crow Mandalorian, the Super Battle Droid, Doc Ock, waitlisted, any number of other topics. I got a lot of them. We're probably not gonna be able to get through them all, but I want to do some philosophy because I know Kiko's gonna love to talk some philosophical stuff. So I know he told me, he was like, "Man, don't axe those topics. We need those." So it's gonna be fun. Nonetheless, let's introduce our panel, and then we'll address the chat and jump into our topics. Carlos, how's it going, bro? Thanks for joining.
It's going pretty good. It's going really good today. I was actually just finishing up doing a lot of my cable management here in my I guess office now, and
I need to do that.
and putting things away and making it look neat, getting ready to go back to, I guess, full-on meetings. So yeah, man, thank you for having me. It's really really fun. I'm gonna enjoy fucking Keco up. So
yeah, that's how it goes, bro. Yeah, and we're gonna do some fun stuff here tonight, with the 2022 recap, stuff like that. And I'm gonna save some of it for Sunday because Sunday we're giving away the Module Spaces. Then of course we're gonna talk some more 2022 recap stuff. So nonetheless, thanks for joining, bro. Always happy to have you. And Mr. Keco, Mr. Handsome Butters, how you doing, bro? How's your week going so far?
Pretty good. It's good to be back here with you, Will. Thank you for allowing me to come back on. And sorry for anyone that may feel like I'm a little underdressed for today.
It's
Carlos
all good,
was like,
bro.
are you naked under there? I was like, no, not naked. Just kind of a little revealing. So if anybody's out there is a little offended, that's fine. Just pour yourself a nice, as long as you're of age, go ahead and pour yourself a nice Jim Beam peach. That's what we have going for tonight. But I'm excited to be here with you, man. And let's have a good time.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a blast, bro. And yeah, I don't even know what is Jim Beam Peach? Is that like a vodka or something?
It's a whiskey, but
okay.
it's pretty much just like straight peach syrup. And if you like
Nice.
if you like peaches, I mean, this is fantastic. And so for someone like me, I don't do beer, if anyone's ever wondering. And of course, this is only for people who are of age to be even having this conversation. But I don't do beer at all. It's always just the liquors. And so I'm also not like a really like strong liquor person. So I like sweet stuff, which is why we do this. So
Drink responsibly, bro.
Drink responsibly, absolutely. Stay thirsty, but drink
absolutely, exactly, absolutely, bro, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining. Thanks to Carlos and Keco for joining the panel. Let's address the chat real quick, and then we'll jump into our first topic. Mr. Keco Collects himself is in the chat and in the panel. Peyton23, hello, fellow collectors. What's up, Peyton? Myself, I'm even in the panel. Nice. Give myself a little shout out. Doug Collector, what's up, bro? Jay Hunter Review. Happy New Year for 1/6. Yeah, bro, you too. Good for health. Obi. Joe Geista. What's up, everyone? I think, Joe, I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If not, please correct me. Sayful. Hello, everyone. What a week for us collectors. Lots to discuss. Indeed, there is. Lots of news. We're going to keep getting news before Chinese New Year. That's for sure. Figman, what's up? Happy New Year. Blackbird Tech. Hey, everyone. What's up? Tragedy Tales. Love the username. Hey, boys. Who's getting Cromando? I think all three of us are. So I think a lot of people are. Quazo 1979. What's up? Hello, everyone. That username was a little bit tough as well, but thanks for joining, bro. Waden, what's up? Joe again. Nishan. Hey, everyone. H.A. Drifter 25. What's up? Dinesh. What's up, Dinesh? The Garage. Dinesh, I still got to get a message from you because I know you want a gift card on that Christmas giveaway, and I've not been able to send it to you because you haven't messaged me yet. So shoot me a message. What's up? Lewis the Bits, Leighton Richards, Benny. What's up? About Future. What's up, bro? Good to see you. Marco Polo, Ryan Smith, Tyria. What's up, Tyria? Sergeant Sal Collects. Oh, damn. What a panel. Yeah, man. We try to assemble the best panels we can. Pablo Meza. Hi, guys. Art of Figure Dimensions. Yo. Andrew Gibo. What's up, Andrew? Renee M. I think it's Renee M. I'm not sure. So many great topics. Let's go. Yes, we will have a lot of great topics. AJ, what's up, channel member? Hello, friends. Hope everyone is having an absolutely amazing Friday, rather. Thanks so much, AJ. You too. 16 Salvo. Ant Collectibles. Good to see you, bro. Channel member. Thanks so much. It's a Will live stream. Indeed, it is. Pablo Meza, curious how much Super Battle Droid will cost. I know it's a mystery at this point for us US buyers. Mark Attack. Thanks so much, bro, for becoming a channel member. Appreciate that, man. That's really nice of you. About Future, Keco, Will, and Carlos. What's up? Thule, what's up? Carlos, you built a wall to cover the kitchen. Why? Yeah, you pretty much. It was time. And it's going to be even more spruced up, hopefully. I only drink Jawa juice. Absolutely, bro. Clothes. Who needs clothes? AJ's right. Mark said Will is all dressed up. Yeah, I know, bro. This is just I got my top outfit on. So, hold my balls. Yo, boys, what's up? Hold my balls. Collectible chats. What's up? Commander Gree, Martin K. How's it going? Figman. Mike Fiella with caps lock. What's up, bro? 16 Salvo. Commander Grease. Smoke him if you got him. What's up, bro? UK Sith. Tragedy Tales. Quicksilver. What up, yo? Long time viewer, first time. Oh, dude. Well, thanks for joining, bro. Feel free to always engage in the chat, man. Don't be shy. Don't be shy at all. Magical's at 99. What's up? I think it's Tracy, right? Tracy, I'm pretty sure I'm getting that right. Mike Fiella. Chase. Is it Chasen? I'm always wondering how to pronounce your name, bro. I know you're the Statue King. I think it's Chasen, or is it Chasen? Chasen? I think it's Chasen, though. Chasen, I'm going to go with that. I know you're the Statue King, bro, so I got to get it right. So fill me in. Community Arcade, listening while in traffic. Thanks so much, MB. We're going to get to our topics. Mace is a win, Brandon. I guess we'll see, bro. I guess we'll see. Mr. Musashi, what's up, bro? Jeremy Stadler, what's up? Riley Reviews in the house. Why is Carlos here? yeah, pretty much. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Who really knows, really? Guys, let's jump right in. Let's not waste any time. Mace Windu from Hot Toys has arrived for pre-order. Long awaited, but good enough is my question. Because, you know, we really wanted one of those Mace Windu figures for quite a while now. And we weren't sure for the longest period of time that was ever going to arrive. However, eventually they teased it with that battle droid, the regular battle droid. And we were like, you know what? Mace Windu is getting made. And then they said, you know what? We've confirmed Mace Windu is definitely getting made. They showed Padme. They showed Anakin. Now they've shown Mace, $279. Guys, the head sculpt is, I guess, a little controversial, but I guess we're going to see the panel's thoughts on this. I actually want to start with Mr. Keco because I don't know how hot of a take he's going to have on this. Keco, the question really is, yes, we got a Mace Windu, and that is amazing because I think we're all pretty much going to want that. However, are we good with good enough here? Because maybe the head sculpt's a 10 to you, but to me, it has a little bit of issue. What do you think, Keco?
Well, we didn't know we were going to be talking about this, first of all, because when I got the set list, if you want to call it that, from you yesterday, this was not on there. But then we woke up to, well, at least I woke up to, and there's some people stay up for these announcements, but we woke up to this announcement, which we knew it was potentially coming at some point, but here it is in all of its glory. And underwhelming a bit. The thing that I love, I think the best thing they did is that they showed multiple angles from this. And I think that is what's important. Like if you're looking at this right here, I don't know who that dude is on the right, but if you look at the guy with the actual saber, that's kind of Mace Windu. It's one of those head sculpts that, and this is going to be controversial, but I've said this before. Some people say that Tarkin's a 10 out of 10. I don't think it is because from certain angles, he looks weird. I think sometimes he looks goofy and he looks like Tweety Bird or something crazy. But this is one of those figures I think that is going to be completely left up to lighting and angles. I think that's what it's going to be. No matter what it's going to be, people are going to have an issue because, for one, there's no hair. It's hard to really hide the fact that this is literally just a head sculpt, no pun intended, about that. And so with it being said is that there's not a lot of things to say, okay, this is the character. This is it. You know, if you are looking at a Keanu Reeves, you know, you got the hair to kind of give an idea of who that character is. You look at Kylo Ren, you can tell that sculpt is great, but look at the hair, you know, that's what. But that photo right there, go back one. That photo when he's in there, that is a really awesome photo that they included because from there, I know that that is Mace Windu. And I think that's what it comes down to is that when you're looking at these figures, and I was trolling hard on a lot of Reddit threads today because people get really, really into the details, which they should, because as people say, I'm not paying X amount of dollars or this much money for something that's good enough. I think that's where, for me, I have an issue with because nothing is ever going to be perfect. We have to understand that these are sculpts made by people and that this is art and there aren't robots, you know, making these things, you know, that may come in the future, but these are artist interpretations and these are people literally sculpting these things to give it to us. So with that being mine, I know there's going to be imperfections and there's going to be things that are off. And I'm okay with that. I saw some people, I know we'll get to in a minute, about the Chrome Mando saying, oh my God, did you see his wrist gauntlet? It's missing the sticker. How in the world did they let this out of quality control? And people lost their mind over that. But
oh, you saw that too?
I did. I was like, are you guys really that upset about these things? Everyone's like, I'm not paying $400 for something that's not accurate. To me, you look into this room and you would see that figure. There is no chance in hell you're going to be like, who the hell is that guy? You know who it is. And everyone's like, I need it to look like a miniature Samuel L. Jackson. You know, that's what I'm paying this money for, the realism. I think you're getting it. But I think we need to honestly understand that there's going to be discrepancies, artist interpretation, things that aren't 100%. And I'm okay with that because I want, this may be controversial as well. I don't want my jobs and everything given over to AI and to computers making everything. I want that personal touch to something. I want there to be an artist take on it. You know, I'm okay with that. And when I walk in, I know this is Mace Windu. Now, is it as good as the Winter Soldier, Nick Fury? I don't think it is. It's the same person, but I think the Nick Fury Avengers, head sculpt, I think it's better than this. But I still know it's Samuel L. Jackson, and yeah, I'm 100% sure getting it. But I think we really need to press pause on if it's not a 10 out of 10, it's not for me. That's my
right. Well, because I think you raised a really good point here that in our culture, this just goes outside of collecting too. We can kind of be like all or nothing. We can kind of be like, oh, it's either fucking awful or it's fucking great, right? That's
right.
That's really how we
anymore.
Yeah, that's kind of how we can tend to be sometimes. However, I do feel like on this one, I kind of fall somewhere in the middle. I feel like I'm like, you know what? This is like an 8 head sculpt to me. And I think that's why the question I've posed, I think, is a pretty solid one, because it's like, you know what? It's a beloved character and a character that is very much overdue. So are we happy with an 8? Because we're just happy to get him, right? And I think you could say that about Doc Ock too, but people were more upset about that head sculpt. I think people were like,
Anything
we're happy to just
involves
get a
Steve is
Doc
gonna be an
Ock, but
issue.
it's like that head sculpt, I didn't think it was terrible as bad as people were saying, but I was like, it needs work, right? And they said they were going to adjust it. Mace, I've not heard anything so far that they're going to adjust this. There needs to be, Hot Toys needs to have a big backlash to adjust something. Otherwise, you're going to get this or less than this. So I think overall, I'm interested to see what Carlos thinks. But for me, I mean, you know what? I'm probably still going to get it, because to me, Keco, I think you're still right here. I think this still looks like Mace Windu. It's not a perfect 10, but you know what? I really want a Mace Windu, and I think a lot of people do too. So he's a very important Star Wars character, and I think it's Samuel L. Jackson, and we want him. So, Carlos, what do you think, bro? Where are you falling on this one?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, because I was adjusting my settings. It keeps going out.
Oh, no, you're good.
So, all right. I know. So I actually made a poll in the group, the Facebook group, and I went all the way from 10 to, I believe, 6.5 and 6 and under. And it's one of the first times I've actually seen a sculpt be so divided. It was like 15%, 10 out of 10. Another 15% were like 9.5s, and like every
Loki
other.
was pretty divided.
Yeah, Loki was.
Well, I mean, Loki was like most. It was like 80% said it was like a 7.5.
Right.
And lower, like in the Facebook group. But this
You're talking
one,
about range, though, right?
Right, like range, right. Like
Okay.
this one is like everyone's voting like literally every half point. There's like 10% of people. So it's really divided, across everywhere. So it was kind of interesting, right, to see that. So here's what I think. I'm gonna try to rank this based on where, for example, the InArt Joker is at. I think the InArt Joker is like a 9.5, right? And I'm saying, okay, if that likeness is a 9.5, I don't think this kind of matches up with how good that figure would be sculpt wise. I'm not talking about anything else. So I don't believe this is a 9.5. I think at certain angles, yes, it looks better, but you can say that about almost any figure. Even with Loki, you can say with the helmet is better than without, right? You can always highlight it at its best angle. I would say this figure right now is about a 7.5 to an 8. And I would agree with Keco that the Marvel version or the Nick Fury version is a much better sculpt. That's for sure. Good enough. I mean, yeah. I mean, at this point, it's the only Mace you're going to get. It's like the Mantis. If Mantis is a character you've been wanting, then that's the only thing you have. It's like someone's mentioning Django. So if you wanted a Django, and even if you didn't like it, that's the only Hot Toys Django you're going to get. You don't really have a choice. So good enough? I think so. I think it's more than good enough. I think Loki is good enough for those people that wanted it. And I think Mace is good enough for most collectors. It's definitely not a 9.5 or a 9+. I know art can be subjective, but I wonder if sometimes we blindly say it's a 9.5 or more just because we love Star Wars that much or been wanting this figure that much that we're going to just say, oh, it's a 9 or higher. When if you really were to critique it correctly, or I think, at least in my opinion, then I don't see it being a 9 or 9.5. Because again, if the InArt Joker is a 9.5 and that looks really close to Heath Ledger, I don't see this one being that close. So again, 7.5 to an 8, but it has been very spread out throughout based on the the poll that I did there on the Facebook group. So yeah, I think though, if we never get another Mace, this is gonna be like a Tarkin or Director Krennic type situation. Like, is the only one you're gonna get, and it's gonna be sought after in the future. So yeah, I think it's good enough.
Well, I think
it's
Carlos,
not like
sorry,
like trash or anything.
No.
So.
Well, I think Mark Attack raised a really good comment. And sorry, Keco, to cover your face. I think Padme and Anakin set the bar, and this is below it. I think that's kind of where we're coming
I don't think
from.
so. See, I don't even think Padme and Anakin set the bar.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was so concerned. I was like, well, all the people that are nitpicking head sculpts, I want you to all keep that same energy for Padme, because I don't think it's a great sculpt. Even
No,
it's better than the
I think it's
prototype,
good.
but-
Anakin's a great sculpt.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think both of those can be anywhere between like an 8 to an 8.5. Like maybe Anakin, I give it again 8.5. Just because I think for me a 9 has to be something that is just spot on. Yondu's, Tarkin's, the InArt Joker, like those are just 9 and up, and I don't really see that with even Padme or. So I don't really think it set a bar. I think it just it's a really solid or great head sculpt, but it's not among the best that they've done. This is an okay sculpt. That's how I see it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I see, before I let Keco jump back in here, I think the Anakin is pretty freaking great. I mean, I think the Padme, I think, is pretty good. I think she falls in the range of maybe a little bit better than Mace, of good enough, right? I think Anakin, though, is like really good. I think that's why people have gone crazy for that head sculpt. But they've always done Anakin well. I mean, they've done Anakin well pretty much every time, because they keep using the same head and making slight adjustments. But with this Mace, I mean, I've seen the third-party Mace and that head sculpt, and it doesn't look too far off from this, to be honest. And that's not saying that. I mean, maybe the third party is just that good. I mean, maybe some third parties really come out really well. And this one, I think Hot Toys, maybe this is a little bit below, obviously, what they're capable of. But I am with you guys. I do think it's good enough. I think it's good enough. I mean, $279, that's a really good price. We all want a Mace Windu, so we're probably going to buy it anyway, right? As long as it's not terrible, which I don't think it is at all, then I think we're going to get it. So, and if you really love Mace, you're going to be happy, right? Like Carlos and I have talked about that Loki, right? That Loki without the helmet on, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's off, right? Put the helmet on it, but I'm a huge Loki fan. Put the helmet on and I'm thrilled, right? So, you're willing to kind of, look past maybe a deficiency in certain areas if you like really love the character. So that's what I would say. But yeah, so I think we're all in accord, right? It's good enough, but hopefully they update it, right? Maybe they'll update. Maybe hey, if you guys have complaints, give them to Hot Toys, because again, they're not going to change shit unless you say something. I mean,
I wouldn't say though that like oh, they're going to update this for sure. I think we've all been like, at this point, know that whatever the show in the prototype, expect this with a 10% decline. Don't expect something better, because at this point, like what happened with Doc Brown and all these other things, to expect something else at this point, which is setting yourself up to disappointment, as Riley would say.
Right. I think so too. Unless you see a statement from Hot Toys, from JC or somewhere else that they are going to update this head sculpt, do not expect them to do that. Like that's, if you're pleasantly surprised, great, but don't expect it, because then you're going to be disappointed. So like, it's not every time where Rey, they just update it, make it better, right? Or Kylo, they make it better, or like, Killmonger or whatever, right? They will do that sometimes, but usually not. The Wenwu, they made better, probably because they got a lot of complaints, probably in Asia more so than here. So, but
the Mark Attack. Now the question is Carlos going to get it rooted?
Eyebrows for Mace, yeah.
Dude, I won't even get Mace, not even for like $100. So,
well, there you go. All right, guys. Well, let's move on from that topic real quick. But before we do so, we have a super chat that I want to address. Mr. Batman's Collectibles, thanks so much, bro, for the super chat. Shout out to Keco. Keco getting a shout out there. Completely agree. Every post is Batman Begins is too shiny. Mando's too much chrome. Mace looks awful. I remember when my toys when I was a kid. So, yeah, it's a really tough line. Keco, I can let you address this one since you got the shout out. But I mean, it's a tough line. It's you want to give criticism, but you also don't want to take it too far, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, that's 100%. And Drago's making his cameo as anticipated. But I think Carlos hit it right on the head, is that we sometimes get blinded by our characters to where we think, oh, I really want this one. This figure can do no wrong. And then there's the other side that everything is wrong. So there needs to be that happy medium. And I think that that's a realistic thing, because as you said, expect the worst, hope for the best, and somewhere land in the middle there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wonder, like, out of every 10 announcements, how many are like a 9+ head sculpt where most people agree? Every what? 5? 7.
Yeah.
I'd say like 1 in 10, honestly. That
Yeah,
everyone
maybe
agrees it's
even 1 in
yeah,
10.
like
that-
Shang-Chi
yeah.
was one.
Right.
Like I'm trying to name some other ones, like Yondu, obviously.
I think we can expect most head sculpts to be between a 7 to 8, and then the occasional 8 to 8.5. But it's rare we get like a I think the best one is that No Way Home.
I think the more No Way Home, and I think a more recent
Right.
one too was Green Goblin. Everyone was pretty
Yeah.
much on board with that. Like
Yeah,
everyone
that
was
one
like,
was
yeah,
good.
that looks great. Yeah. So
Before we get too crazy, I mean,
Yeah.
if everyone wants to get super crazy, it wasn't that far removed from the old Sideshow sculpts of, I think someone mentioned that in the comments. You know, if you really want to complain, I mean, you can go ahead and pick up the old Sideshow releases. I mean, those were rough. I
Yeah.
mean, they literally look like butterfaces. So
yeah. Some of the old Sideshow figures for sure.
I don't get it. Why are you handsome butters? I need to understand this.
Will, would you like to take that one?
Yeah. So Carlos, basically I was doing Keco's reaction to his collection tour, and he had his hair styled a little bit differently that day, where it was a little bit more like styled like Butters from South Park. So like so I said Keco was handsome Butters. I was like, and Keco, that was totally off the cuff, bro. I watched your collection tour, and I was like, Keco looks like Butters, but I was like, but he's handsome. So I was like, he's handsome Butters. So
And I used that the last live stream, and I forgot to change the handle. So I'm just writing it out.
Yeah, you might as well, bro. Just roll with it. Guys, let's talk about the other big news in the community. The InArt Joker was released. Is it worthy of the hype? We need to talk about this. And there's two different things we can share. I know Big Bretta, Joao, awesome YouTube content creator, did a review. So I'll bring that one up real quick first, because I know Joao, like I said, did that review. And it's doing super well for him. Super thrilled that he was able to show the Joker, InArt Joker, and it looks pretty great in the videos. So the question is it worthy of the hype? And I'm actually going to start with Carlos, because I know, I think you might have, I don't know, I'm pretty excited about this. You might have been even more excited than I was about it. But nonetheless, is this InArt Joker worthy of the hype? And I'm going to show the Rooted 2-pack that Joao did his review of. And there's the first head sculpt, as you can see. But Carlos, I'll let you jump in here. What do you think?
So how good is it? Is
it worthy of the hype? Because it's $1,000. Like we were all really hyped about it, but there were a lot of skeptics in the community, Carlos, that were like, "Well, InArt hasn't released anything. You guys are crowning them, whatever." So is this worthy of the hype that we were, heaping the praise on them for? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think from day one there was a lot of people that were rooting for InArt to fail, or believe that they would. I definitely didn't think so. I think it is 100% worth the hype. Like I said, this figure it's just pretty much close to perfection. You're getting that custom style head sculpt, the tailoring. There's little nitpicks here and there that I've heard from other people, like from Ben, something about the ankles and just little things, but they're so minor that if that's the worst thing we're talking about is about an ankle, then I'll live with it. Like just because the ankle kind of indents a little bit, right, because of the joint, but no one's really looking at that kind of stuff. Yeah, so you can't even see it only when you're sitting down. But worth the hype, man, 100%. At this point, anyone who is saying this looks like crap or it doesn't look very good or it's just not worth it, I don't know, man. It's just like we can all have, our opinions. That's fine. You don't have to love this, but I just find it really difficult for someone not to be into this or for them to believe that it's not worth the hype. I just think this looks great. Now, is it expensive? Yes, but I mean, I feel like you're getting your money's worth, right? It's $1,000, but you're getting 2 figures, you're getting 2 different expressions, you're getting a real die-cast jail cell, wooden base, magnetic joints, seamless arms, just really everything that is almost perfection. I mean, even the guns are just everything about it. So it's funny because Sean had said this is like the hopefully he doesn't get mad that I say this, but this is right now the best 1/6 figure ever made. And I'm finding it very difficult. Yeah, very difficult disagreeing with that. Because you can even say like this fucker can pose from what I've seen. You know what I mean? So I don't really see a lot of wrong with it. So 100% the hype. If you can buy it, that's great. If where there's a sculpted version, which hey, Keco and I are doing that giveaway. So if you want to go to the Facebook group, but or the rooted version or whatever it is, man, 100% into it. And I've said this that if InArt knocks out the Gandalf and they knock it out of the park with Pennywise, dude, pre-ordering this fuckers anything in the future is going to be like the J&D hype. They're gonna sell out. They're gonna be a ton of people going after it because they understand the quality. Their first figure, and hey, they did exactly what they promised for the price point. I don't know. I'm trying to actually find reasons that I don't like this, and I just can't. So
Right. I mean, look at that, Carlos. Look at that shot right there, bro.
I just
mean,
don't see how you don't love it. You know what I mean? At this point, there, like I said, there's tiny little things, but I mean, I wish like those were the tiny things we were only complaining about Hot Toys. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, Keco, before I jump to you on this one, I think it's been really interesting, like Carlos was talking about, and this is, you know, definitely not everyone, right? It's just maybe, I guess, there's certain people and others in the community, like, but I did kind of notice a little bit of a sentiment that I found very interesting, like rooting for InArt to fail. Like, it was very interesting. Like, they wanted, like, I don't know what that was about. I just found that a very interesting, like, phenomenon, I guess you could say, because it was like, well, you know, it's always good to be skeptical. I've said that from the beginning. Like, you can be skeptical. This is expensive. This is a very expensive 2-pack. It's $1,000, right? It's not cheap, and it's rooted. But I mean, really, when you look at what you're getting for the value and what you pay for customs or whatever, this is a pretty damn good value. Honestly, that's what I believe. So yes, it's expensive, but it came out really great. I mean, we don't have them in hand yet for us, but I mean, I trust Joao, and Joao gave a very positive review. I should hopefully have mine soon, and then I can tell you guys what I think also. But I'm really, really excited to see this, and I do think it's lived up to the hype. But what do you think, Keco? Like, why is this? Well, so two-part. Is this lived up to the hype for you, and why do you think maybe there were some people out there that were kind of like that maybe wanted this to fail?
That's a great question as to why people want it to fail. I don't really know why that would be a thing. Unless they have like some stake in another company and they're like,
Right.
okay, you know, the only reason I want this to fail is so my company does better. But it's one of those things, you know, competition breeds excellence, and, you know, it's pushing the envelope. As soon as InArt started releasing these teasers and previews and things like that, we started getting more diorama bases from Hot Toys. We started getting the PRS system on all the figures. We started getting the USB cables for the lightsabers and things. I mean, you can say it's all coincidence, but perhaps it's answering the bell. You know, I'm okay with that. If I want to be real nitpicky, the only thing I would say is I think the colors are a little bit too loud. That's the only thing I could say. Maybe it's just because the way the film was shot, you know, it's a little more muted. I think these are a little high in contrast, but that's it. I mean, this is an excellent figure. There's no denying that. And if you are saying that it's a poor character or a bad representation, find something better then, because you're not going to. And that's not just me being a honk or a shill or anything like that. You know, I am waiting for mine when it does come, and I actually moved around some things in the display today in anticipation of it coming, so that, you know, he can have a nice proper space. So I'm excited for it. And as I talked about, if InArt continues to deliver, they will get my business, because I really want to see what these Game of Thrones figures look like. I need a legit Daenerys, and the ones I have are not doing it for me. If I can get a Daenerys that is similar to this, all day, baby. So yeah, I mean, no one should root for, you know, something that gives you pleasure and other people pleasure, and it's a hobby. That's like saying, you know, hey, I hope, you know, these teams go under because I don't like that team, type of thing. Okay,
Right.
well, that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, it's just bitter, miserable people that have nothing better to do, I'm sure.
Because actually, it's and I won't say who it was, but I actually heard once the final photos came out of this one, not like the proto, not the one from Vic, but the actual final ones, just a few days ago, someone said that the rooted version, it looked like crap, right? And Will knows who I'm referring to, and it looks like crap. It's not worth it. They're just scamming us, and it's like, I don't know. I just feel like if you're gonna have that harsh of an opinion, I feel like, I don't know, I can't really trust anything you say at that point if you're going to be that delusional, you know, at this point. Because I mean, it's one thing to say like, hey, it's it looks good, not for me, okay, but for saying it looks like crap or they're scamming us, it's just like, dude, I don't know what's going on with you, but I don't know. I'll stop there.
No, it's
I mean,
all-
that's a perfect example because here's a little sports talk for you is that's like saying the Bengals are an objectively bad team because you don't like them, essentially. When
the
they,
Bengals.
yeah, the Bengals are an objectively bad team or they suck. And they're like, oh, Kansas City is so much better than the Bengals. Yeah, we've beat you 3 times in the calendar year. So, I mean, objectively, you cannot say that. And so that's a great point, Carlos.
Yeah, and I don't want to misrepresent any arguments because I think, like I said, there's a very fine line between skepticism and rooting for failure. I think those
Right,
are two very different things. And not everyone was rooting for failure. I mean, and again, this is not a victory lap by any stretch because we don't really have them in hand. And like I said, I've always said from the beginning, like, I think they look great as far as prototypes go, but let's see what we get in hand, right? I think InArt's really knocking it out of the park with prototypes, but I don't have this Joker yet, so I don't really know. But like I said, I do trust Joao, and I trust the unboxing that we've seen, and just really excited to see kind of what the next steps are going to be. So for me, I just think this looks great, and I think it is worthy of the hype. I did see a comment saying it's not worth $2K, but it doesn't cost $2K; it costs $1K. So maybe it's not worth 2,000, but I do think it is worth 1,000. I think that's going to be subjective. I know some people have said they don't think it's worth 1,000. I do personally. I just think with the rooted hair and everything involved, I die-cast parts and die-cast dioramas and wood and and movable eyes. I think it's worth it personally. But that's me.
Let's say you don't. Let's say 1,000 is too much. That's fair, right? That's a fair point. Well, they also have a sculpted version.
Yeah, there's like 4 options.
Right, which was like $330. And the sculpted version looks pretty good. It only comes with the purple coat. And that was $330, $350 shipped. Because the reality is, let's be honest, Hot Toys cannot do rooted. They can't. Right? If you believe that they can, I'm sorry, but you're just wrong. And it is what it is. So they're gonna, if they do a rooted version, if they do a Joker, they're gonna do a sculpted version. And so you can get a Hot Toy like price from InArt, and they're giving you the sculpted version, which again we are giving away for free as a giveaway. But so if it's too much, go get the sculpted version. Hot Toys is not going to give you rooted. They suck at rooted, so you don't want it, and regardless. And their Hot Toy Joker would be what, 300, 350, roughly the same as InArt. Right. So it's very comparable. No one's saying you have to get $1,000 one. Because you're like, oh, well, I want to stick with Hot Toy prices. Well, then stick with Hot Toy sculpted hair too and get the 330 one.
And I do think, Carlos, it's fair to say, and I think InArt learned from this, they should have released a rooted 1-pack. I think they know that now because it was their first figure and they were like, well, how should we approach this? How should we do it? They should have been a rooted 2-pack and a rooted 1-pack. And I think they know that now, but it was their first release. And I think moving forward, we've seen that they've done that for every other figure. So I thought maybe they would give Pennywise a 2-pack also. I would have loved that. I would love that where you got both, 2 bodies and 2 head sculpts. I think that would have been great, but they decided not to. So, but with Batman, we saw that, Carlos. We could see Batman and Bruce Wayne, but you can also get them individually if you want. Right. So I think InArt learned from this. So yeah.
Would you have wanted them to stick to the rooted version to be in the 2-pack?
So for what? For Heath?
For just everything moving forward, like. You only get the rooted if you get like the maximum version.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I personally like how they separated it into like 3 different versions. I like that. Like you get the sculpted for the single, rooted single, and you can get a rooted 2-pack if you want. Like I said, I wish Pennywise had that. But
my only pushback would be that, as we all know, the more SKUs, the more they sit. So the more options, the more things get worse. As opposed to saying, this is the, sculpted. Here's the rooted. Here are 2 price points. That's the only reason I'm saying, like the Blurg, just so many different, but it's also the Blurg. I guess not a good comparison, but just when there's so many SKUs of anything, things just never do well. That's the only pushback I would, but there's a brand new market for them. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
Could be. So worthy of the hype as far as we're concerned, but I guess we'll see when we get it in hand. Guys, another one, we got to talk about worthy of the hype, Chrome Mando, because I know Keco was talking about this on Reddit, it sounds like. We got a release, and it's interesting. This is one that's got people's attention. And we got BG Toy Art doing the photos, which is really, really exciting. But guys, like I said, I've never done probably a stronger 180 than I have on this figure. This figure specifically, when Leo and I and a bunch of others went back on a live stream way back, and we were like, fuck this figure. We were like, we got the original Beskar Mando, and we were like, we're pissed. We've had it for a week, and then you put this out, this better one. But now I've had some time to sit on this. I've had some time to ruminate and process my thoughts and calm my emotions and nerves. And I was like, you know what? This is worthy of an upgrade. So I sold my original one at a loss. Is everyone going to do that? I saw on Reddit, Keco, by the way, and I'll start with you. on Reddit, people were like, a lot of people, the sentiment was being expressed, I'm not going to upgrade. I'm just going to keep my original Beskar Mando. And I was like, that's not how I expected people to react. And I think Hot Toys was not expecting people to react that way. I think Hot Toys was like, well, you think you're going to upgrade to this one. And that's why they did it. But it's also a slightly different Mando. But Keco, what do you think, bro? If you have the original Beskar version, is this one worth upgrading to?
100% yes, for this one simple reason. Finally, after, I think this is our 4th release, because there was the Durasteel, the normal one, and then the Blurg version, and now this one. Okay. Finally, after 4 releases, you get relaxed hands. Did you know that? This is the first time you get relaxed hands for this bitch. So that is why I'm upgrading, simply so I can have relaxed hands. But in all honesty, this is once again an objectively good figure. I think it's simple to say that. And maybe it's just Alex taking incredible photos, once again, but it's an awesome figure because it gets I think it just looks more like there's a person in a suit this time. It looks like it's got more range of motion. The chrome actually turned out great. And of course, the people online saying, oh my God, season 2, it wasn't dirty. What the fuck am I looking at here? So not realistic. The spear doesn't even match the Beskar. Is this a Beskar spear?
What the fuck am I looking at?
Completely taken out of the illusion. But that's fine. And there's going to be plenty of people that, don't. And that's cool too, And so, but yeah, this was one that, yeah, the relaxed hand's cool, but think about how much you get. A head sculpt, chrome, a better wired cape, a better kind of fit around the neck, a better, more accurate undersuit, the dark saber, another Grogu if you really want it. And
there it is.
you get all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is great. And I think $350 is what it was for the deluxe on Sideshow.
$360, I think.
That's not bad, especially for what you get. And this is kind of what everyone was saying. It's like, I think the chrome's too dull. Then this one comes out and they're like, fuck, it's too bright. It's too dirty.
That's true.
It's like, damn. I was like, what do you want? And I even see people, going back to Game of Thrones, taking this and making their own Game of Thrones mod, which is really, really cool.
That's true.
To make an Oberyn. They made their own Oberyn. And I think it looked great. So, but yeah, this is one it's in Cincinnati currently on its way to me. Yeah, a lot of Cincinnati in this show, by the way. Cool. We just keep talking about Cincinnati. But yeah, it'll be here in a couple days, and let's go.
Keco, look at that shot, bro. Come on now. Like, I don't know about you, Keco.
That is an objectively good photo.
It is, bro.
Yeah,
and it's just like, and Carlos and I know you, Keco, from what I remember from your collection tour, we tend to be more like a museum character pose type poses instead of action poses. That is all you need right there. Put in with the dark saber, the chrome pops, the cape looks wired this time, dude.
Imagine this in life size like this.
Yeah, that would be great, bro. That'd be great. Sideshow maybe we'll do it. So Sideshow, if you're listening, consider it for Carlos, please. But
I'll buy it from you, even though they will have no idea that it's me.
Yeah, they won't. You'll never see him coming. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but Keco, you are right, bro, because the original one, we were like, it's too dull, and then this one we're like, it's too shiny. Like it's like
everyone wants a Goldilocks solution, but this is your Goldilocks solution. This is the best of both worlds. Everyone's like, oh, I'll just wait for the inevitable season 3. Okay, wait another 2.5 years. Enjoy. With nothing sitting on your shelf. That's the one that blows my mind. Is that everyone's like, I'll just wait for this version. You don't know you're ever getting it, and I'm sorry, I didn't know you had the storyboards to season 3, and you get this full look into the way his upgrade looks. I'm like, awesome. But yeah, I mean, is there another version coming? Sure. But I bet you won't get relaxed hands. I can tell you that.
Yeah. And Sean dropped a funny comment. Darksaber is 15% too long. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So
the realism is completely gone.
It does look great, bro. I cannot wait for this figure. And this is the one I told you, Carlos. I want to hear your thoughts on this. I was like, bro, if I was maybe a newer collector, like I would have been like, I would have bought this day one. But Keco, I understand because Keco doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care about being patient. He's just like, I'm just going to get the figure. I don't care. Right. But this is such a good figure, Carlos, that I was like, man, do I want to buy this from Tim Cent? Because I was like, I really do want it, but I was like, I'm just going to wait for Sideshow. But Carlos, what do you think, man? If you had the original, is this worthy of an upgrade? Because to me, it looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, I definitely think it's worth the upgrade. Better body, wire cape, the accessories. So 100% you should be upgrading if you can swing it. If you're okay with taking a loss on the first one, on the original one, and having the extra funds for this one, hey, by all means, go do that. We've all done worse. Literally will. All the time.
God, I know that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So that's fine. Is it a little too shiny? I mean, like, yeah. I guess in this angle, some people were saying like, oh, the certain like Keco was saying like the weathering or the thigh pad or the thigh piece, like it's too shiny and all those different things. I'm like, yeah, I guess, but let me see. Every single person who said that right? I mean, I'm still gonna get it. Is it a little too shiny? I agree, yes, but I'm still gonna get it. But some
You know
people
what
are
it
like,
honestly
"No."
is? It's people rationalizing why they're not able to get this one. They're like, you know what? I'm just going to say I don't want it that way, and all these things wrong with it, so I can keep mine. That's exactly what it is.
I mean, it's interesting, right? Because people do say like, "Oh, it's too shiny. I'm not gonna get it," or all these different things. I'm like, yeah, but you also go and have figures in your collection that like the fucking sculpt isn't even that good, and you're over here displaying it. So like at the same time, I'm like, well, pick a side. Like, okay, do you want like, is it too shiny? Well, your fucking figures don't even look that accurate, like to begin with. So like, where does that stop? Where you know what I mean? It's like it's not too accurate. I'm like, okay, like, it's a fucking toy. Calm down, right? But I think this worthy of an upgrade, 100%.
Yeah.
This is gonna be one of those things where I'll buy it, and then eventually I could see myself selling it once the new version comes out. But I'll just sell this one like naked with just like only the body, and I'll keep all the fucking accessories, even the head sculpt, and I'll do some stupid shit like that. That's probably honestly what I'll do.
Well, yeah.
So, but yeah, man, 100% upgraded, buy it. If you can swing it, go for it. If it's too shiny for you, look at your other figures whose head sculpts aren't good, and then come back to me. But
well, I mean, I am with you guys. I do think it's maybe slightly too shiny, but I'm all for it. Honestly, I don't care about the inaccuracy in this sense because I think it pops on a shelf. And that to me is like, you know what? Is it slightly too shiny? Sure. I don't care, honestly, because I think it looks great. I think it looks amazing. Yeah. The head sculpt turned out pretty damn good. It's not perfect. It's better than Mace. I will say that. I will say this.
So that's a perfect example. Like, oh, this too shiny. Mace isn't perfect. Right. And I see people still owning Maria Hill. Like, that doesn't even look like Maria Hill.
That's one of my favorite figures.
That's Keco's favorite figure.
No. I'm saying, what I'm saying is, if you're saying this is too shiny, like, other figures are not
right. Keep that energy,
either,
baby.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, in this lighting, it doesn't look too shiny. It looks fine.
It looks good.
It just depends. Yeah. Like there, it doesn't look too shiny either.
No, it doesn't.
So it's just a matter of lighting, I think. But trust me, I think we're all on board for this one. And someone mentioned it, I think on Lael's stream, they were like, guys, when you get this, just so you know, if this is your first Mando figure, yes, the holes in the cape are supposed to be there. Because everyone asks that. Everyone's like, my cape came with a bunch of rips and hair, like tears in it and holes. And they were like, is that normal? I'm like, yeah, it is.
Watch the
show.
People
were complaining about it.
Some people were with the original one. It was funny though. I mean, it's not to attack anyone or anything like that. Like, because people probably looked at it and they were like, why is it like this? It's for the rifle for one. Yeah, it's for the rifle, and the other ones are supposed to be there because Mando's he's been through some shit. He's had a tough go.
We all make mistakes, like buying PS5s for $800. You know what I mean?
I don't know who would do something like that. Certainly not me, but I will say at the time, Carlos, it was much harder to get one, so I wouldn't have been able to game with you guys if I didn't have one. Well, maybe since all the shit we played was PS4, but nonetheless, I still have a PS5. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I think it's worthy of an upgrade. I think we're all on the same page. That said, we need to address something because this topic got moved up specifically for Keco because this was lower on the docket. However, Keco made a very strong case of why this topic needed to be up more quickly. And Keco's going to drink the whiskey in preparation for it. But this is kind of like slightly, I guess, older news. But Doc Ock from No Way Home has been officially waitlisted on Sideshow, the deluxe version, not the standard version. That's actually waitlisted too. That tends to happen more often than not. But the deluxe version that everyone actually wants is waitlisted. Set to come out Q2 of 2023. Keco, I want to start with you. Is this time to take a Sideshow seriously? Because Doc Ock is officially waitlisted. This is the first, I guess, big banger figure, a deluxe version that everyone wants to go waitlist. Is it time to take Sideshow seriously? What are your thoughts here? Keco's drinking in preparation for this answer.
No, this is not time to take them serious because I can remember being on this show specifically. Let me pull up myself up a little bit so people can see me over the banner.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm remove the banner.
There we go. Is that I've said on this show before, is that there's certain things I was looking for Sideshow for me to kind of be back in their good graces. Okay. I said, I want you to be forward. I want you to be forthcoming, be transparent, talk, get things in time, pay a little bit more to get things, released, and, because it's I want things now situation. That's my thing is speed. It means a lot to me. And I love their customer service. And we've had those conversations, but their customer service is taking a massive fucking hit in the past, month and a half. Let me detail, if I may, is that I want to go back to let's just go back to stealth suit cap. Okay. Is that was handled so inappropriately and so many people were upset and turned off to the whole process. The limited edition 30 or 300 piece stealth suit cap. Everyone's like, okay, sweet. Let's register for this event, blah, blah, blah. You guys know how that went. 5.5 hours later, the servers crashed, never came back up. 300 magical people got it. And then 1 million people didn't, and they were pissed off. I'm like, okay, fine. I understand things happen. Maybe you just weren't prepared. But then you have stuff with these wait lists happening to where things go waitlist. And I was like, oh shit, Kate Bishop's gone. What are we going to do? I'm going to join these waitlists. Oh no, the Obi-Wan, the deluxe special edition or whatever is waitlist. What am I going to do? Let me just join the waitlist. And then I think a couple weeks ago, everyone's like, oh shit, all the Attack of the Clone stuff is disappearing. Everyone join the waitlist right now, right now. And then right before your stream even ends, hey, you had the opportunity to purchase this. Congratulations, your waitlist converted. And same thing with Mando, is that we've had a conversation. It's like, oh shit, the deluxe or the Mando standard version's gone. Are they just ordering so few? Is it not going to happen? And everyone's like, oh damn, I guess I really need to start taking these things serious. Man, let's do this. And everyone's like, okay, cool. And then this one happens, and they're like, oh no, what are we going to do? I think it's all smoke and mirrors. I think it's all bullshit. It's not even close to being June 2023 right now. And you're going to tell me that this figure is not going to have any left over? I'm going to come back and make an actual comment about this in a second, but I just need to vent about one more thing about why I can't take them serious. So as you know, Will, I sent you a screenshot of a lot of pre-orders that I put in. I'm like, okay, look, I'm back. And I sent you like this screenshot, like of all these little pre-orders of like things that I said, okay, let me do this. Cause I tried it with Echo and the Throne Boba Fett, and I got them almost essentially day one. And I'm like, cool, they're back. Sideshow's in it. Let me do this. And so I put these pre-orders in. One of those specifically was the snowsuit White Widow. Okay. One of the ones I've said on this show is one of my favorite figures, looking forward to. I love that figure. Can't wait for it to be here. I'm like, okay, well, this is taking a little bit longer than I thought it may take. Okay. So I'm like, that's fine. Things are going to happen. It's the holidays, whatever. But then I finally get the email. Hey, just letting you know, final payment, it needs to be paid in full because it's expected to come into our warehouse in the next 10 days. Final payment is on this date. Cool. I'm like, awesome. Sweet. I'm getting a White Widow. You better believe my card was charged 100% that day. I'm like, okay, cool. Preparing to ship. Waiting. It didn't even go to preparing to ship. I'm like, that's odd. So after 10 days, I messaged them. I'm like, hey, you guys took all my money and you guys said that this was preparing to ship. When's that coming? Hey, oh shit, sorry. It's coming. It's like that episode of South Park where they're like, oh yeah, they're coming. The dragons are coming, when they do the South Park Game of Thrones parody.
Yeah, right.
They're like, oh yeah, White Widow's coming. It's coming. And I'm like, okay, well, what should I do? They're like, it'll be here in a couple days. I'm like, fine. So then Christmas comes and it goes, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, where the fuck is this White Widow? Because you have all my money and I have zero figure. Okay, where is my figure? And so then I'm like sitting there just watching TV last night, and I get the email. Sideshow. Oh, cool. White Widow delayed. I'm like, what the hell? It was supposed to be in your guys's like warehouse, and you've already charged me. Now it's delayed an extra couple months. You better believe I went back on that chat and I was blistering today. I'm like, what the
I know you of all people
is wrong? I was like, where is my figure? Why did I overpay for this thing? Or why did I pay for this outright and I still don't have it? Oh, it's stuck in the port, but it's coming. It's coming. It's really coming. It's just stuck in the port, taking a little bit longer. We'll send you an update real soon. I'm like, I bet you will, motherfucker, because I am so pissed. And this is why you can't take them serious, because if they can't even get their warehouse numbers correct, saying, okay, yep, it's coming in. If it doesn't come in, you aren't shipping any figures out. So I was super pissed about that. And I'm like, okay, this really made me mad. So should you take Sideshow serious? No, because they don't have a good track record right now. Now, all that anecdote to say this, and I'll bring it home. Is it possible that they are saying, okay, I'm just throwing numbers out there. We're ordering 500 of these figures, and once they officially go out, it's waitlist. And of those 500, 50 of them are for people that cancel or whatever. And once it is in stock and it's in our warehouse, those 50 waitlists start from the very beginning. And if someone buys it, cool, that's one left. And it just goes like that. That's the only thing I think logically they can make sense if they're going to be doing this. So I do not believe that they're only getting, if they order 500, only 500 are coming in. I do not believe that at all, because they order extras in, for the broken pieces and all that stuff. They're getting more in. And I do not believe that these are not going to be in stock at some point. Randover.
Interesting. I loved hearing that story, Kiko. I had no idea.
shit
That
was
was so.
funny.
It's like a roller coaster ride, bro. I didn't know where that shit was gonna go.
I
It was
want my
Kiko
White
was like,
Widow.
you were like, your Black Widow has been delayed, and I was like, damn, what a climax for that story, bro. Like you went all. That was fucking awesome. Anyway, Carlos, dude, hard to follow that one up. Dude. That was amazing. But what do you think? Is Sideshow? Is it time to take them seriously here? Because I have a feeling you might have a different answer than Kiko.
So, okay. Let's first look at it from a business standpoint. All right. Because that's the way I'm going to try to look at it. The economy is 20% down. Things aren't looking great. I don't want to get into much detail, but it's not doing good. Collectibles are not a need. They're a want. I've always said that. Right. So a company like Sideshow and any other luxury brand companies, which is what they are, luxury, not Sideshow, Hot Toys, they will struggle, right? Because these are not a priority. Like if you're losing your job, you're not like, well, fuck my, unemployment. I'm gonna use this bitch on Doc Ock. Like you're not, right? Like you're not.
I'm getting Doc Ock.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I got $1,000 in unemployment. InArt Joker, baby. Like, no, that's not what people are gonna do, right? So because of that, they will struggle. Sideshow knows this, or hopefully they do, because if not, they're just incompetent little fucks. But the reality is they probably know this. And they know they don't want dead stock. If they would not care about stock, then they wouldn't have given out that Jeepers Creepers thing for like 90% off, right? So now, as far as waitlist, I believe there's a little bit of truth to everything, So do I think you should worry about Doc Ock? No. I think they started with the intentions of like, hey, we're going to waitlist some of these lower tier characters like Kate Bishop, classic Loki, and a few others that probably were, bottom tier characters for most people, right? Like She-Hulk eventually will probably get waitlisted. Just not enough. Now, for something like a Doc Ock or anything like a Mando or any of these really big popular characters, 100% they're just fucking with you. I don't think that they're like, yeah, like, like people are going to want Vaders. There's no way that Vader's going to go on waitlist. Even if they do, they're just going to try to get you. It's just too popular of a character for them to not make enough of them. Now, do I believe that batches will be massive as they used to be? No, but I think they'll be bigger. Hot Toys can order 20,000 Doc Ocks, right? And they're going to be available in Hong Kong. While Sideshow may order may be entirely different. And that's completely separate. But yes and no. You take them serious for the figures that are definitely lower tiers. Like if you want that Mantis, I will probably pre-order that, right? It's going to be a lowered batch. But if you're looking for a Doc Ock, the new Spider-Man, Darth Vader, this fucking Mace, no, I don't care if they're waitlist. They're going to be readily available. It's just not going to happen. So that's what I would say, man.
Yeah,
and I think there's something in like.
Sorry, go ahead, Kiko. Go ahead.
The answer's in the middle. Honestly,
Yeah,
we have
yeah,
extreme. Well, that's the way it is for everything. There's the truths in the middle, and you just have to kind of rationalize what that is for you. But Carlos is correct. Don't tell me that characters that are beloved, like Green Goblin, Doc Ock, don't tell me that those aren't going to be available because people want them simply for name recognition. Most people don't know who a Peacemaker is. Everyone knows who Dr. Octavius. Come on.
Right.
So I think
this is not an unpopular figure,
right? If I was to go up to anyone
movie of that year, I mean, come on.
Right, yeah. If I was to go up to any random person and be like, "Yo, do you know who this is?" and then put up Mantis, I'd be like, "Who the fuck is she?" You know what I mean? They won't even know. But if you put up a Vader, or Spider-Man, or so many other really important characters, like, come on, they're not gonna
wait. And especially Mandalorian, Carlos. You put up a Mando, they're gonna know. But Cad Bane is another one too. I don't know if maybe many people on the street would know Cad Bane, but for the people buying these collectibles, they definitely do, and that's why that one's not going waitlist anytime soon. So it's just because it's been a real hot ticket. So So I mean,
Cad Bane I would probably put him in like middle tier though. I think he's like cannot. But dude. Like, what's another really character? Who I think would go probably waitlist? And I would expect it to be a low batch. Did they announce that Daredevil, the yellow one?
Not yet. It hasn't been put up.
I think something like that would be really low batch. I think people say they want it, but I don't, because it's associated with She-Hulk. I don't think that's gonna.
And it's a different color. Some people will back out because of the color and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I think something like that would be small. She-Hulk would be small. Fucking
Right.
Morbius. I don't know who the fuck is gonna order
Well, that already
that.
waitlisted, I think. So
Yeah, because they made fucking 5.
well, I'm
That's
surprised
why.
that
I'm one of
Riva has
those.
not
I ordered one
waitlisted.
of those.
She's like, I got it.
Well, yeah, and Keco, I'm glad you ordered one. I'm surprised Riva has not waitlisted because I thought she would be one that's been pretty unpopular, but maybe not because the head sculpt's so good. Maybe that's what it is.
No, I think Riva hasn't waitlisted. Really hasn't waitlisted?
No.
Out of spite. People aren't ordering out of spite.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah,
That's
well, it's
the-
like some of the Eternals figures. I know Gilgamesh is waitlisted, but I don't think Thena has. I'm surprised she's still up for pre-order because I know Mark from Alter Ego, the CEO, he said he was like the Eternals figures have been the lowest pre-ordered figures of all time on our website. He was like even he said Riva's also like competing for that spot. And for all those who love Riva, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. But it's just I'm just pointing out the facts of how unpopular they tend to be with collectors. So that's why I'm surprised that Thena and Riva are still available.
Keco, so I fucked up. I bought Morbius signature. It was like really inexpensive. I got it for like
Who, Jared
dirt
Leto?
cheap. Dirt cheap because I had a
Nice.
I don't want to explain what happened, but I got it for almost close to nothing. So I'm gonna send you when I get the signature, I'm gonna send you the plaque so you can display
Deal.
it.
Let's go.
Yes,
Let's go.
And send it with the Ecto one, bro.
That's
Then
what
we
I'm
got
saying.
a deal.
We're still
Yeah.
discussing.
Yeah, send it with it. But guys, let's move on from that topic so we have some time for some others. But we got a super chat, and I love the username, Black Tom Cruise. Thanks so much, bro. Appreciate the super chat. Wish I can have Hot Toys Padme, but I'm not allowed to have Natalie Portman in the house. Girlfriend said so. Hope everyone else can enjoy. Dude, that
Sounds like you need a new girlfriend. dude.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
know.
I'm saying, bro. I'm not trying to be a dick, but that was just what I was gonna say politely. I mean, that's I'm sure she's great, bro.
I'm
sure
just
it's
kidding.
great
You don't need
relationship.
a new
But that
girlfriend.
seems a little controlling, does it not? Does it, Keco? What do you think, bro? I mean, I,
I
don't mean to
think
play
he's just
relationship counselor, but you know.
I think he's fucking with you. I don't think he really means that.
Okay, because
Right. But I've
it sounds
said-
real to me,
I
but
think so.
I've said this before, and I've done it on some of my videos, is that, and I actually mentioned it on my How to Handle Criticism video, is that if people can't accept you for you, the people that are closest to you, then maybe it's an opportunity to kind of just stop and say, you know, why are these people that are closest to me, why are they that close to me if they don't accept me for me? And so
Kiko, are you saying that if they can't handle you at your worst, they don't deserve you at your best? Is that it?
100%.
Well, okay,
I'm just
okay.
fucking with
So
you.
here's what I'll say. Here's
I
what
get
I'll
what
say.
you mean.
All right,
I get
I'll say something to this. Okay. Assuming that Black Tom Cruise is being legit, which I think he's fucking with this, but let's just say it's not. Okay. I kind of get to a little extent as to like people who get figures and or statues that are of women in certain poses, or they do the
Sure.
fights
Yeah.
and bodies, because that's
Right.
pretty creepy. Maybe that's what the girlfriend means, as in like, hey, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to like poke fun at him, because that's not what I'm doing. But maybe it's more like I don't want like figures that are of females, because that can seem a little bit creepy for her, and I could somewhat understand that. Now, if she's just saying like I don't want Padme just for a specific reason, then I don't know. That's something different. But
Well,
I can,
yeah.
that's what I'm looking at.
Well, I mean,
from
like,
that
if he bought the Tifa statue, it would be a different conversation. It would be like, yeah, like I kind of get that firm line there. You know, it's like, yeah, that's a little bit over the line. But
I told myself that I wasn't allowing Throbbing into the house, but I did. And now I have to keep, Amy out of the toy room.
You
because I
do,
don't want,
bro.
I don't want her going up
that's
there.
competition.
And I don't want her going up there and seeing that.
Yeah, and like even quite enough said my wife is making me buy Shang-Chi so she can look at him. So I mean, yeah, it goes both ways, I guess. So Willie said Tifa statue goated. It is, bro. It is. Goated is the creepiest statue. And that Thanos one is definitely up for the running, by the way.
Oh, she said she really didn't let me get Padme. Okay, so here's the question though. Is it because you're not allowed to have any female characters, or she specifically doesn't want you to have Padme? Because maybe she knows Natalie Portman in real life and she thinks she's a bitch or something. I don't know.
What do you guys think? Should we make this a clip that we put on there? Because this has become like a really interesting conversation.
I don't know, man. I think so.
Let me know in the chat, guys. Would you watch a clip of this conversation? Because this has become really, because what do you say? Let's be honest. A lot of young men had their sexual awakenings around Padme and aren't really all that quiet about it. Yeah, I mean, maybe, but this has gone
I have
really-
something for you that
Yeah, what's
definitely is
up?
clip worthy. And this is actually something that is happened to me that I think is important. Okay. So like
All right.
6 years ago, I'm on a date with my wife, or then girlfriend at the time. Okay. This is some deep stuff, young people out there. Hopefully you can learn from this. And so I decided that I wanted to put in The Town. Okay. Everyone seen The Town?
Yep.
One of my favorite movies.
It's Ben Affleck. Yeah. And
Yeah,
Jeremy
Ben
Renner.
Affleck and Jeremy Renner, Blake Lively, all that stuff. but speaking of Blake Lively, okay, so I'm watching it with Amy, okay, and I made this comment in the middle of the movie, okay, we're like getting ready to get to the climax of the movie, you know, the main heist. I'm like, oh, we can't like turn this off, but something happened to where she rolled over and she was done because I said, man, Ryan Reynolds is a lucky man. And she got so pissed at that because, and I found out later why she did. She said, let me ask you, what does that information do for me? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, what does it matter that some other man has somebody else? Am I not good enough for you? Sure, he's got Blake Lively. Does that make him luckier than you? You have me. Do you want to keep me? Essentially. And that's what it came down to. And I think women in general, and this can get really spiral out of control, but she said, you know what? It is not your role to say, hey, you know, look at these other women because I am your woman type of thing. Now we understand, you know, there are, you know, objectively attractive people out there, but your woman doesn't need to hear you saying that essentially. So, and that's what I got in trouble for. And I was like, you know what, babe, you're exactly right. I am lucky to have you. And can we finish the town now?
Well, I guess Keco, it depends on how he approached getting the Padme figure. Like if he said, I want to get Padme because I have the hots for Padme, she might be like, yeah, you're not fucking getting it. But like if he just said like, you know what, I really like this Padme figure, and she was like, nah, that's a female competition, and that would be a little bit weird. But I guess it just depends how you sold it, Black Tom Cruise. If you went to her and said, you know, if you sold it really, like, I really want this Padme figure, I love Attack of the Clones, she'd be like, hell yeah, let's get it and pose it together. But if you approached it a little more, you know,
I don't know, man. It's hard because, like, okay, like Becca calls Star-Lord daddy. Okay. So calls
why? Why?
Because he's handsome, right? And he calls Ryan Reynolds daddy. Like, you know what I mean? It's
you
like,
got to kick her out, bro.
No, I mean, I just don't think
No,
it's that big of a
Becca,
deal. Like, it's funny because sometimes I'll be with like Becca's sister Tati, or like, well, you know, I'll be with Mike, which is her husband. And like we were walking once, like, I don't know, months ago. And there was a girl with a really big ass. And Tati said, Mike, look, that girl has a huge ass. And she wanted Mike to go and look. I'm just saying, I think it depends on the insecurity of certain women. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, man. If there's a hot girl, I'd be like, celebrity is one thing. Like a regular person, like, you know, if I was single, like, let's be honest, you can get with that girl. But a celebrity, none of us are gonna be fucking with no celebrity anytime soon. You know what I mean? Let's just call
Keco
it
might, but
you know. So I don't know, man. I just feel like if it's a celebrity, be like, damn, that girl's hot. And be like, oh, like, do you think she's hotter than me? I mean, bitch, you're not a celebrity. Have you not seen her? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I won't say it, but I will.
This has to be the deepest live stream we've
ever done. This has to be like, this is probably the best topic we've ever had. And it wasn't even a planned topic
at this point.
Yeah, it wasn't even a planned topic. So thank you, Black Tom Cruise, for getting
he said she thinks it's creepy. She didn't like the Harley Quinn I have. She said that having female. Okay, see, so that's what I said. That's what I said. And yes, okay. I could see that because I think that if you have like a ton of female characters, it's a little creepy. I'm with that, but it also depends what is the ratio. Like, do you have like one female for every like 10? And it's like, dude, fuck off, right? But if it's like you have a ton of female characters, like a Harley Quinn or this, I don't think that's a big of a deal, honestly. You know what I mean? If anything, Becca encourages me to get Black Widow because she's like, yeah, she's hot. Like, you should get her. But Becca's probably more in like that ballpark of like she's really chill with a lot of the stuff. You know what I mean? So,
but see, like, and CT603 said women want to be admired. Collecting and streaming isn't good for marriage, is a real talk. And then what else? Toy Box.
I don't know. I disagree with that.
Becca said my girl is the same when it comes to Zendaya. So clearly, this is a thing.
I don't know. Becca doesn't. I mean, collecting and streaming isn't good for marriage. I don't know, dude. I mean, Becca encourages me to do this stuff. So like,
yeah,
right. My wife tells me that, hey, if this brings you joy and this makes you happy, I want you to do that 100%.
I think it depends the line. Yeah.
Some women are very needy and want more attention than others. I used to be with someone who was needy as fuck. And I was like, you know what I mean? I'm like, thank God I didn't end up with someone like that. Because Becca is not like that. Like, yeah, she wants some stuff and I get that. But at the end of the day, dude, there's some like, so it depends on the line. It doesn't sound like Keco, you have a crazy wife. Because
no, he doesn't. She's great.
But there are some out there, dude. They're just like, oh, like, you know, like collect or me. Like, okay, like, you know, that's a bit much.
Collect.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like shoes or me, bitch. It's like the same thing. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like a firm line to draw.
Insecure women. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Insecure women.
Yeah. See, and Dahlia said I have a ton of male figures. Yeah, it's good. I mean, hey, I don't have a ton of female figures actually. I have like Ray and I forget who else, but
I do get the female part though, because like I kind of think it's a little creepy if you have way too many female characters. Like I know there's a really good friend of ours that I also won't say his name, who only collects basically women's statues and figures. We all know, and it's like, dude, stop. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's where it's at. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, and Alien Queen said I was with a guy who didn't understand my collecting works both ways. It definitely does. I mean, that goes both ways for guys and gals. I mean, it's like you could have a partner who doesn't understand it. I know Keco's experienced that, and it's and then when you get someone who does, you hold on to them because they're really supportive.
The last thing I'll say, and we can wrap this topic up, is that I think there's a difference for sure between like actual stock figures that you get, of an actual character, or those that have been exploited. I don't know if you ever saw, but there's that Emperor's Chair with Rey spread eagle on that. Have you ever seen that one?
No.
I might send that to you off topic. But anyway, very interesting thing. There's a difference between that and a stock figure. So
I think people who kit bash figures who have like the Bison one where the boobs sticking out and really like, man, if you like doing it, that's cool. But that's creepy as fuck. Stop that shit. All right. Like that's just the reality. I'm sorry.
That's fair. That's fair. To each their own, right? But it to me, it's a little uncomfortable, no doubt about it.
To each their own. That's so creepy though. So like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's reasonable.
You know what I mean? So.
Guys, we're gonna clip that shit because we went on way too long to not make that a clip. So pretty much, we're making it a topic. Thanks so much, Black Tom Cruise. How did 1/6 collecting change in 2022? Because we could talk about the battle droid, and if we have time, we still will. But it's just like, you know what? That was not even up for pre-order yet, as far as I've seen. So I want to talk about collecting in 2022 because we're at the end of the year. New Year's Eve is tomorrow night. Really excited about that. Gonna have a nice dinner with the fam. Hopefully all you guys are gonna do some fun stuff. And I want to know what you guys think about this because things have changed, I think, pretty dramatically. And the reason I want to kind of bring up what has changed, I want to pull up Sideshow's kind of in-stock Hot Toys. One of the big things that I've seen has changed this year that I've never seen from Hot Toys before, and I've only, granted, been in this game like maybe 4 years, something like that. It's like, you know what? Everything's in stock. Everything's sitting. Everything's discounted. That's not happened really before from what I've seen. You don't have to pre-order shit. Now it's changed a little bit, but I think in 2022 alone, it's been like, it's gone from one extreme to the other. It's gone to, you can buy anything discounted to now you need to pre-order according to Sideshow, right? So it's gone all over the place. So I want to ask you guys, how did 1/6 collecting change in 2022? So Carlos, what do you think, man? Because I know you and I are still pretty new to collecting, a couple years in, right? And what do you think has been the biggest change in 2022? It's been a pretty wild year, I feel like.
The biggest change in 2022.
Yeah.
Damn. I would probably say understanding that whatever you buy, if you hold on to it for a little bit longer, you're going to probably be able to get it for significantly cheaper now, or that there's no resale value. I feel like that's probably been the biggest collecting change, just because I feel like in the past, and maybe I'm wrong about this, because I collected and stopped and came back over the last couple of years, but it used to be like, oh, I'm going to get this Captain America, and I'm going to keep it. It's going to go up in price. And when the next Captain America comes out, I'm going to sell this one and get the other one. So you can use your collection to fund your collection. That was always the thing that people would say. And I feel like in 2022, that's definitely not been the thing. It's been more of a don't pre-order, wait, only per the things you want, and things are going to get so cheap. And you really can use your collection to fund your collection just because things get so cheap. Like, I know, well, hopefully you don't mind me saying this, but I know you really, really want that Star-Lord from Volume 2, but you don't want to sell your Infinity War because it's worth like a fucking movie ticket. It's worth nothing at this
Pretty
point.
much, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. Like where before you would use your collection to fund your collection. So I would say that's probably the biggest one, is making us stop and think more about it. Because if you bought this Captain Vaughn for $250 and you're like, oh, okay, this is cool, and there's nothing wrong if you bought it for that, and then 2 months later you're like, I don't want it. It's not worth $250. It's worth like fucking $200 or even less. So I will say maybe that's the biggest change. And yeah, like just things sitting forever. So yeah, what do you think, I guess?
Bro, and look at Carlos' alter ego, right? Like one figure that I thought would never be discounted is the Battle Damage Mark 85. It's $100 off on alter ego.
Yeah. So that's probably the biggest one.
That's insane. And the Boba Fett 2-pack is $120 off. I mean, and this is alter ego, and they do not really discount things as frequently before 2022. Mark actually CEO sent out an email recently. He was very transparent. That's why I love them, because he was very transparent. He just talked about how collecting has changed in 2022 and how it's going to change and readjust moving forward with smaller batches and such.
Yeah.
But I just think it's really interesting to look at this, and I'm just like, everything's going to be discounted. Like even this Batman, this is on here full retail for now. It probably won't be for before long.
Yeah, because I actually have a retailer, and again, I won't say their name because I don't want to get them in trouble. But they've told me that every figure that comes in for Hot Toys, every single one, then they get it about 2 to 4 weeks after Sideshow will. They can sell it to me with no taxes and no shipping and 20% off just immediately. You know what I mean? But I'm like, sometimes that might not even be enough, because look at Rescue, right? Look at the Mark 85. Look at the Boba Fett 2-pack. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's true. Well, Keco, what do you think, bro? I mean, how has collecting changed in 2022 for you? Because I know you've gone from day one to Sideshow and kind of back and forth. Like, what do you think has changed?
Well, I don't know where I'm eventually going to land when it comes to that as I continue to navigate those troubled waters. But I think in general that 1/6 collecting has really taken on almost a mainstream appeal. I think is that 1/6 collecting got really big during the pandemic because no one had anything to do. Avengers Endgame had just finished up, and people were really hype about, finding ways to remember the Infinity Saga. And so everyone really were like, oh, sweet. What is this? Hot Toys? These are really highly detailed, collector's pieces. And I think during the pandemic is that the 1/6 community really grew. And you look at people's subscriber numbers even, and, the Facebook pages, I mean, they just exploded exponentially. The Reddit threads of people just saying, hey, I'm new to collecting. So there's been an influx of new people into the hobby, which is awesome. But I think the thing about it is that they're coming into it at a time where things are very unstable. So you have a lot of new people in the community in an unsure market, an unsure hobby, and a lot of people coming and going, unfortunately, because they don't really know how to weather those storms. They're like, shit, if I'm going to get into this, do I need to expect 50 releases in 2 months? Because I'm not going to be able to, keep up with that. Damn. Or, hey, kind of what Carlos said, if I'm into this thing now and I can get it on Sideshow for $250, but okay, it's $185 somewhere else. How do I navigate this? And so there's a lot of people in the community just trying to find their way, I think, and trying to figure out what is best for them. Because people always say all the time, whenever they look at my collection or they talk to me or in general, they're, how long you been collecting for? I was like, well, I've been collecting my whole life. And the whole thing about collecting is that it is a marathon. It's not like, I need everything right now, put it on my shelf and I'm done. And that's the other thing, is that once you put something on the shelf, you're never done. You continually collect, you move things in and move out. And so if there are new collectors into this 1/6 pool, if you want to call it that, and that's why for my channel plug, why I try to give so many things that hopefully can help and get people to think and rationalize the way they collect and how they collect and things like that. I think it's important to give as much information as you can, because this, as far as a hobby, is not a cheap hobby by any means. Yeah, there's discounts out there for sure. But at the end of the day, let's say you buy 5 figures, you're over $1,000 at that point that you could have put into something else. And it's not something that you kind of say, okay, I'm all in for 6 months and then be like, oh shit, I don't like this anymore, because that's an expensive lesson to learn if you're not really into it. So I think all those new people out there, the new influx of collectors in the 1/6 community, is watch these streams, join the groups, talk, ask questions. And that's one of the things I said in the little Joker video, is that the place for collecting is no criticism, no toxicity, no bad questions. If you have a question about something, or even in these threads or anything like that, just ask it. That way you don't make a stupid decision, essentially, because it's the stupid decisions that you make that pile up to where it makes you leave the hobby. And that's what I don't want. I don't want people leaving the hobby because they got burned or misinformed or something like that. So I think that's important, is that the thing about 2022 is that we're really reached a new level of collectors. That's awesome, but it does come with a lot of responsibility for those that kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think so. And I think you guys are spot on with this. I mean, there's definitely a lot of things I think that's changed, but one of them is, the influx of stock and the overabundance of stock. So it's just been something, I guess, to monitor, man. And like I said, it's a little bit uncertain times right now. It's uncertain waters because, like we talked about with Doc Ock, do you pre-order? Do you not pre-order? Before it was like, well, I damn sure I'm not pre-ordering because I'm going to be penalized for pre-ordering. Because if I pay,
Right.
you know, if I pay full price, I'm going to look dumb because like everything's been discounted. But now it's not the case anymore. I guess we're going to find out. But I think a lot of people, I mean, as long as you get the figures and you get it, a lot of people don't care because they got the figures. But it just stings a little bit, you know, in 2022 when you bought that Iron Man for full price and then now he's like $300. So you're like, well, I could have saved $150. Like, you know, and that if I just waited a couple months, right? So yeah, I mean, it's, you know, that's kind of the things that people have to think about. But nowadays, I think that's going to change. I do think that's going to change. I think those days are numbered. I will say that. So yeah, I guess we're going to find out. But nonetheless, guys, let's move on to the next topic, which I'm going to save the battle droid, I think, for Sunday. I want to talk about this because, and I want people to really tune in for this one because I know there's a lot of people in the chat that are considering collecting both figures and statues because statues are very tempting. And when you get into them, it's a very different ball game. However, I think you can very much do both, but you have to be selective with how you do it because if you're going to get statues, they take up space, they take up time, they take up a lot of money, right? So you got to be very careful. Like the statues you see behind me, right? I have like maybe 10 statues. That's probably about it. And Keco, probably pretty similar, right? So I want to give people the number one statue collecting tip. That from each of you guys that they can kind of take with you and say, you know what, I'm considering collecting a statue for the first time. What should I really be thinking about or what should I be considering? Because it can be a dangerous game. If you're only used to 1/6, you're like, I don't know if I feel comfortable getting a statue. Like it's a big investment, whatever. I don't know what's going to happen. So you got to be careful. There's a lot of factors. I'll jump in and just say, to me, you don't have to use the tier-based collecting system that Carlos came up with, but if you do, or you really care about characters, you could really, for a statue, you should probably only get a tier 1 or tier 2 character, someone that you love. You love that character. Unless it's like a 1/6 scale statue or 10 scale Iron Studio, sure. If you want to go wild, go for it. But if you're getting a quarter scale or higher, it should be tier 1 or tier 2, in my opinion. But that's my statue collecting tip. You can't have a ton of statues for most people just based on the amount of space that most people have. So if you do have a limited amount of space and a limited budget, get only the statue characters that you love, that you're pretty confident you're not going to sell within a reasonable amount of time. Carlos, I hope I didn't take yours. What's your number one tip?
Yeah, I guess something similar. So see, with 1/6, you can say, oh, you know, I've really always wanted a Power Ranger or whatever. You buy it, you buy the Power Ranger, you buy the whatever IP, and then you can literally tomorrow turn around and sell it. Easy, right? Statues is not like that. You can buy a statue today and it'll be really hard to sell. Typically, the bigger the scales, third scale, half scales, you know, those are going to be really challenging. Make sure you want the statue. I would say that if you had to go, if like you're a beginner to this, go and name like your top 5 characters, maybe your top 10 characters of all time. And probably honestly, I will start with like your 5. And say, okay, these are my top 5 characters of all time. And is the statue that I'm getting a top 5 character for me of all time? If it's not, at least is it at least a top 10? And the reason why I'm saying that is with statues, they take up space. They're definitely more expensive, but they're so difficult to sell. Not only, and if you do happen to sell it, they can crack or break on when you do ship it to someone. And then you're fucked because now you're gonna have a statue that's broken. You're going to have to refund them whether you like it or not. eBay or PayPal, they will side with the other person. And now you have a broken statue, and then you're going to have to resell for even less. So it is a huge undertaking to go on ahead and get a statue. So make sure that they are a top 5 character, worst top 10 character, and understand the question of like, is this something that I see myself owning for 2-3 years or plus? This is not 1/6 where you can buy it, change your mind, and get rid of it. It's not like that at all. If it's a 1/10 scale, then maybe that's a little different, but we're talking quarter scale or more. Like this is Jin Sakai. You know what I mean? And here's the worst part. You know, if you own a Jin Sakai, if you own a statue like this, and you happen to, and what does this retail for? $1,100?
Like $1,200, yeah.
And it's still in stock?
Yep.
Yep. So you would probably have to sell this for like $800, something like that.
Yeah,
right?
probably.
Okay. And if you happen to have broken a piece and you glued it back, you have to let that person know. And then that's going to make you go even cheaper on the price. If that statue has been sitting for a long time, it's going to be one of those. So again, can you own a statue? I think a statue is by far better as far as presence wise than a 1/6. It definitely is, because they're bigger to, you know, certain poses you can achieve. But yeah, if they're a top 5 character, go for it. And again, understanding what it means to sell, what it means to space wise, and all that information I just mentioned. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, what do you think, Keco? What's your number one statue collecting tip? Because I know you're like me. You have a limited amount of statue space and money. What do you think? What would you say?
You guys both said pretty much what everyone already says, is that, space is a thing. Make sure it's someone that you really want. And I just want to take it from, I guess, a different perspective, is that, when you have these in your collection, they're there. I mean, you think about like all the statues, like the national monuments, and you go to the Vatican and you see this, they're not moving essentially. So if that's what a statue is, it's meant to kind of be in there forever. I mean, there's Revan, there's Malik. So when you make the decision, you better be damn sure that that's the figure that you want, statue that you want, the character that you want, the representation, because the pro about it is that you're getting a dynamic piece that's incredible, that people are automatically drawn to when they see it. You're getting the best pose potentially for that figure or character at that time. So you're not having to worry about posing it. But then you just need to make sure that if all those tick your boxes, that, okay, I'm happy that this is not going anywhere and that it's going to be there forever. I think that's the number one thing, is that when you get one, there is the price commitment. Yes, there's the space commitment, but you're not moving it essentially. I have that PCS Venom that's essentially as big as me. That, and I know Carlos has the Mark. Is it a Mark III? The Iron Man coming?
Yeah, he's got the Mark III.
Yeah, the life.
Either way, I mean, you have an Iron Man coming that's, once it's there, it's not moving. Essentially,
right.
I mean, they're huge and they take up space, and so I think you need to just make sure, and it's got a built-in safety valve to where, if you're thinking about getting it, when you finally pull the trigger and buy it, you know that you really wanted it because it's not going anywhere. And so just pick, whenever you're deciding between a statue, just realize, hey, once I get this, it's never leaving. Am I okay with this? It's almost like a tattoo. I almost got a tattoo. I don't have any tattoos, but when I almost got a tattoo one time when my dad died, and I thought to myself, okay, yeah, I'm emotional right now, and I really would like this to kind of keep this in remembrance, blah, blah, blah. But in 5 years, do I still want to be able to answer to why I have this? I don't think so. Same thing with the statue. Do you really want to explain in 5 years why it's here? If so, then cool. Yeah, go for it. But if you're like, I don't even think I'll be wanting it in a couple of years, don't get it by any means. Because like Carlos said, you will not be able to move it. And that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, it is. And selling statues is difficult. I mean, it really is. It's doable. A lot of people do it. I've sold some, but I have sold some at significant loss. I mean, I have. I mean, I sold the Prime 1 Joaquin for basically about half of what I paid for it. And I had to. It wasn't like, I love that statue, but it was like I moved back to Maryland and my space changed. I had nowhere to display it.
I had me up, bro.
Yeah, I should have Keiko. I tried to sell it to Optical and he almost bought it, but I sold it on eBay actually. But yeah, I mean, it's just life changes. So
like for me, like I'm gonna get a life size, and I only need, let's just be honest, one life size of an Iron Man. Right. So I have this half scale Mark 7, and I bought. So this was like almost 3,000 shipped, but I was able to work out a deal. Things were, so I ended up getting it for like 2,400. But this goes for about 3,000. I'm probably gonna sell this $2,000 to $2,200 shipped, because I'm going to use these funds to also help cover the life size. So for me, the life size is paid off, but I want to be able to, just make it easier now at this point, because I don't need a half scale Mark 7 and a life size Mark 3. I just don't really want that. And this half scale Mark 7, when I list it for sale next year, or literally in a few weeks, I guess, dude, that's going to be a really fucking difficult thing to ship and sell, because not a lot of people are going to, want it, because it's just the reality.
The market for it's a lot smaller.
Yeah, it's a lot smaller. It's half scale. So that's the problem. You're gonna take a loss. The space is massive. So
yeah. I mean, you guys know. I mean, the higher end the piece is, the smaller the market is for it. Because I know when everyone was trying to get me to buy the 1-to-1 Loki bust that Queen Studios put up for pre-order, and it's amazing, no doubt about it. I'm not a big bust guy. I don't really buy busts, but that's a $4,000 investment. And when you go to try to sell that thing, the box is massive. And also, who's really going to buy a $4,000 bust? The market for that is pretty small. Even if that sells out, maybe I could sell it for a profit, but probably not. Because the market's so small. So even when it sells out, I'm probably selling for that thing for $3,000, right? I mean, it's like, so you really got to make sure you want it. So, but I do want this Witch King. So, I'm still trying to decide. Carlos is, we've been talking about it, but
I don't think so.
Keco, should I get the Witch King, bro?
No.
Does it answer all those questions we talked about? Do you have the space? Could you possibly move it at the future if you wanted?
Yes. It's only $1,500.
This is not a top 5 character for you. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's not. It's not a top.
It's not even close. Not even top 10.
Right. No. But it's tier 2. It's tier 2. So,
Yeah, but again, no, dude. This is the thing. It's a beautiful piece, and they're all beautiful pieces. But
yeah.
yeah, no, like, and that's why, like, even for like J&D, that Superman, I really want the black suit, but I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't know, he's like iconic enough for me, not for
Right.
everyone, for me. It's just so many different, because a statue is so difficult to resell,
And yeah, and you have to factor in the anomalies, Carlos, because for example, right, like the decision you have to make, because no one expected Prime 1 to announce that third scale Arnold, right?
Right.
But they did. And now if I had bought the Witch King or something else and I dedicated that space to it, and I'm like, well, shit, now I want that Arnold, right? I have to make that decision. And then if I have to move on from this, maybe I'm taking a little bit of a loss, right? So you got to be pretty calm. Like Arnold, where that's pretty much locked and loaded, it's like, yeah, I really do want that Arnold. But you know, with Witch King, it's kind of like, I love this and I really do want it, but it's not Loki. It's not Kylo, right? So,
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I would say. So anyway, guys, statues, a lot to consider, but that's our number one tips. So just the tips, as they say. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it there. We're going to end the show there just so we have, some topics still for Sunday that we can use. So we're going to do that. And yeah, I think we're right at the 90-minute mark or around there. So that's pretty much what I think is good. It keeps people's attention, still gives them time for the weekend to do their thing, and we'll kind of roll with that. Anyway, Mr. Carlos, a place for collecting. Bro, do you want to talk about anything specific to the group possibly?
Yeah, so a place for collecting is for collecting. It's a Facebook group, so we try to keep it, toxic free, drama free. We monitor things very closely. Initially, the idea was to cap the group at like 500, but our mod team and admin team is getting bigger, so we can keep growing as long as that keeps growing. So we're actually partnered with Keco, and we are doing a Joker sculpted version giveaway. If you're part of the group, you follow him and Riley, you'll be able to be in that giveaway, and we'll announce like the winner soon. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have going for it. It's just the group and the giveaway. But thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And I meant to address this. Casual Nerd Problems dropped a really good comment about statues. Scale matters in the statue world. 1/4 and 1/3 are the most popular for sure. Just remember, boxes for statues are way bigger. 100%, bro. That's one of the biggest things. Maybe one of the tips we should have mentioned. Have storage space for boxes.
That's
because
a great point.
Keco knows, like, it is. Dude, I store most of them in my attic. Some of them I cannot even fit in the attic because it's like a ladder that goes up there and the boxes are too big. So like I have to put them in my garage. So pretty crazy. So yeah, anyway. So yep. Consider the box space. And thanks so much, bro. Keco, dude, what's coming up on your channel, man? Thanks for joining.
Yeah, absolutely. This is another stream where Carlos and I didn't get too off topic, and being disagreeable or anything like that. I think
We just
we're
talked
really
about relationship advice.
correct. I really think we're starting to mend this bond, man.
Yeah,
That's
right.
great to know.
Solve the
But
anecdote.
great stream tonight. I really enjoyed all these topics. Thank you for letting me do my sideshow rant. I'm still salty about that. I'll let you know how it turns out. They told me only a couple more days, and I hopefully will get that White Widow, but we'll see. But yeah, as far as the channel goes, as I said, I mentioned with a place for collecting is that I put a little video out for the sculpted hair InArt Joker, and all you have to do, as he said, just saying it again, join the Facebook group, join Riley's stream, subscribe to Riley, subscribe to me, and leave a comment as to why you want the Joker on that video, and you're officially qualified. But you only get 10 days. And I think I looked at that. Of January 8th is when we shut it down. I may have to double check that. But yeah, you got 10 days to qualify for that. So really good stuff. I'm getting ready to eclipse the 4,500 mark on YouTube, which is exciting. I wanted to be at 5,000 by the end of the year, but that's okay. But I have officially crossed the 6,000 mark on Instagram. That's pretty exciting. Been trying to add some new reels in, which I'm not really thrilled about because I think they're lame, but apparently people like them. So that's what's going on there. So feel free to follow me on the YouTube, on the Instagram, and all that
On the
stuff.
YouTube?
On the YouTube.
On the
YouTube.
tubes.
On the tube. But yeah, it's so much fun being able to sit here and talk with you guys. And thank you for giving me a forum to chat with you guys. I appreciate
Absolutely, bro.
Bro, show us your nipple.
that. No.
Yeah, this is not lights, camera,
real
nipple,
real
Carlos.
risky tonight. So
Yeah, I know. Lights, camera,
lose that
Keco
rating.
over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks so much for joining Keco and Carlos. Like I said, we got an Avengers level panel. And guys, yeah, thanks so much for watching. As always, every Friday, Lights, Camera, Collect, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. We got Collectors Mingle this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, we'll be giving away the 2 Module Spaces this Sunday. That is already closed. So if you have your entry in, don't worry. I got you in the spinning wheel. You're going to be on there. It's going to be a blast. We're going to do that at 8 p.m. Eastern this coming Sunday. Remember that you have to be there. So if you do happen to win and the magic wheel picks you, you have to be there and you have to comment. That's going to be really important. I don't want anyone to get upset if we spin your name and you're not there. So just factor in that is super important. There'll be some other videos coming out, a beginner's guide to Hot Toys. Working on that. Working on a PowerPoint presentation. So it's going to be really fun.
Nice.
And yeah, there'll be some other cool stuff. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Keep an eye out at Facebook for a place for collecting rather on Facebook. And of course, Keco Collects wonderful channel. And of course, on this channel for lots of good content coming your way. And everyone else, of course, that appears on this panel. Anyway, guys, have a great weekend. Have a happy new year. Hopefully we can talk to you before then. If not, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Bye. See you later. Bye.